This conference will now be recorded.
Thank you. Welcome to the budget budget workshop on October 15th, 2024 at 7 o'clock. And we have here tonight, in addition to the town board members, we also have Nicole Forbes, who is the budget officer for the town, who prepared and presented the tentative budget. We'll note that we do have one member of the public in the audience. Tim, thanks for coming. Okay, so I think since this is my first go around with a budget workshop like this, I think what we do, and I'll help Nicole out as best I can, because there's certain values that were placed in the tentative budget that I helped with the we consulted with each other about. But I think I'd like to go through the actual budget itself. Not the. You want to start with this part right here, Nicole, or the tax levies or anything like that, or just wait for that to be?
Wait till the end.
Wait till the end for this. Okay.
Well, the only thing I would like to know beforehand, and I kind of have it out there, but you did say it as a mistake. So when we're going through the budget, we know what our increase or decreases are line for line. It looks like there's $130,000 increase right now in tax levies. Am I correct?
Roughly, yes.
So that's what we basically are trying to dwindle down or keep the same or whatever.
Yes.
And that is equivalent to a what percent raise right now?
10%.
Okay.
And the exact figure is 131,742.
Okay.
Then you said a percentage.
10%.
Is there anything in particular that makes up the bulk of that, or a large percentage, or?
It's going to include 5% salary increases for everyone. Medical expenses, retirement expenses, social security expenses.
Yeah. So let's start with the town board. As Nicole mentioned, we have generally worked from a 5% increase as the rule. So there would be an increase in the 5% for the pay for the town board personal services, and that's the first line. And that would result in $23,472. When we get down to contractual expense, last year's budget adopted a $600 budget item. That doesn't reflect the trips taken by the board. That's the line item for the classes, the trip to New York City as part of the Association of Towns. So this year, I suggested that we make that a little more realistic as a budget item and put in $2,000 for that. The justices represent a $21,284.
Sorry, can I ask?
Go ahead.
Do you know? Do you happen to know what the amount actually spent in 2024 was for the contractual expense for town board?
Yeah, I do somewhere.
Well, you can. Is it 2,000? Is that?
No, 2,000 slightly conservative on that part too. When you look at for the supervisor, I'm sorry, let me find my worksheets for this stuff. So as of August 31st, the contractual expense for the town board was $3,076.
Okay, thank you. Any particular reason you decided to make it 2 instead of 3?
Somebody might not want to go next year.
Okay.
I tended to. My sort of approach is to be conservative on the revenues and try to, be realistic or go a little higher on the expenses, the appropriations. For some of these, this is within the town board kind of, it's within our power to say yes or no to these things for ourselves. We could always, if something comes up and we want to increase it, it's a nice increase compared to what had been heretofore budgeted for that amount, even though that the expenditures have probably never met the actual budget amount. It just seems like it's a more realistic number.
Where did the 5% raise come from?
That's what they asked for. That's what all the departments and the employees asked for.
I mean, they just got a raise and they're getting longevity bonus.
Yeah,
I mean,
we could discuss it. I'm just, that's what the budget started.
Basically, what this is worst case scenario, and now it's our job to start saying, all right, we're not gonna do 5, we're gonna do 3, we're gonna do 4, we're gonna do 2.
Okay. There was
Yeah.
a worksheet
Whatever.
with the percentages, like 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, do you have it?
Yes. I just didn't know if we had settled on 5 at some point. I didn't know.
That's just what's plugged in here, and that's where I said we gotta try to basically take that 131,000 and do the best we can to dwindle it down to less than that.
Yeah. So that's how I was saying. I started with, the expenditures will be higher on the higher end and the revenues will be more conservative, just as a working thing. I'm gonna
I
ask,
don't even know if I got that either.
you want it, Eric? I think I have one in my, somewhere in this list.
Anyone else?
Tim, you want one of those?
I would, please, thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you. So justices, Nicole, I know we're not having, so let's get down to the justices. I can't remember what our thinking was for that one.
So we left, basically what we did was we took the 24 salary and gave it the 5%. We know that we're only gonna have one justice, but it gave us a little leeway on if you're gonna give the one justice a little more and then a clerk for him or
Right.
however you wanna do it.
So what would happen is the justice personal services includes both the clerk and the town justice. Now, Mike has suggested that he's going to go to 3 court nights a week, a month rather, 3 court nights a month schedule to make up for that. And he's going to have a larger load. So, if I look at his how much he gets per night of court being open over a year kind of stuff. That would be enough. And that the balance left over would be allocated towards the clerk. But I haven't discussed that with Mike yet, but that's kind of what the number we have in mind.
And we talked with the Office of State Comptroller, and they're okay with us going with one justice.
Oh, not just that, it's done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We haven't got anything.
No, I was reading the notice.
Back,
I'm like,
everything's okay and.
Yep.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be a local. Oh,
It's
yeah,
not local law. It's
we're eliminating, if we could eliminate, we're still able.
So the only thing I'm confused about, just the way you said that, Favor, and maybe it's not a change, is so Mike's salary would be changing from what it is now, or that's staying the same, and then we're just basically adding a court clerk salary in there too?
Well, right now, Mike, let's just assume Mike only works two court nights a month.
Mhm.
He continues his thing. He would be probably interested in getting paid a little more because he's been kind of doing it anyway. So he would get paid 1/2 of that, 21, right? Is that the right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he may ask that, let's say he wants 15,
Mhm.
and then put on an extra night a month as court, which I think he's entitled to if he's going to pick up an extra court night. And then the clerk would be coming from the remainder.
Gotcha.
How many nights? We have it 4 times a month right now.
It's supposed to be, yes.
What are we doing?
2 times a month.
Okay, so why would we do 3?
Based on the load.
Is there a load? I mean, we're not even, what is our nightly? Like how many cases do they see a night?
He's, we can ask him at some point, but he's the one who knows how many cases are coming in, what they're, and he felt that 3 nights a month with one judge would be appropriate. Because people who are scheduled to come on the nights that he's not in court are now missing it, and they're having to reschedule, and there may be a bit of a backlog. I don't know specifically.
He also has the ones that people that fill out the paper and send it in or drop it off here, that he has to do by hand with anybody showing up in court.
Exactly. So that was his suggestion. And that's why I'm, we need to iron it out for him, but the purpose of the budget is just to keep it at a 2 justice salary with a 5% increase.
He's doing 2 nights a month right now
Yes,
at his regular salary.
yes,
Does Hope do anything?
don't know.
No one knows.
Once you're an elected official, you're an elected official.
I'm
It's darn
not-
hard to-
No, I don't know. I mean, I haven't had a chat with him about,
I
this.
think she does some of the paperwork.
I think before we
Is what
switch
I
to 3, I think we need to figure out how many, what's the average of the year, and then, I'm not,
I agree with where you seem to be going with this, with what you're thinking is if 2 is okay, then 2 is okay. If we've been doing 2.
The only
Right.
thing, I'm sorry, the only thing I'm thinking is, right now, it's supposed to be one judge does 2, the other judge does the other 2. However, 1 night a month, you're supposed to have DA night. So if you have one judge still doing only 2 nights a month, and one of that night is the DA night, you've got one other night to try and get all your other stuff done. It might be too much is all I'm saying. I don't know.
Well, and I wasn't even gonna go there. I was just simply saying it. At one point, maybe not now, but Hope was doing 2 nights and Mike was doing 2 nights. If we try to, any way you look at it, if we try to pack 4 nights into 2 nights now, Mike's workload and caseload is definitely gonna be bigger than it was at one point. So I don't see how it would be fair to basically give him double the work, because Hope is supposed to be taking half the work, whether she's doing that or not. That's what he signed up for, is 2 judges getting half the work each, and now we're asking him to do double the work for the same money. Whether it's 2 nights or not, it's still double the caseload.
I don't think it is, because he's been doing it. How long has Hope been MIA essentially?
We don't have that information.
She's
That's,
not really MIA. She is in here. I've seen her in here. But I think they've got some sort of agreement that she does certain things and he does other things.
Well, I just don't know, we're going from 2 justices to 1 justice, and now 1 justice at a higher rate, and then we're adding a clerk. I just don't know why we're changing, and we've already moved the cheese. I just don't understand why.
it wasn't to save money, it was basically to make things flow better. Because we need a court clerk, because the judges aren't always trained in the paperwork, and we need somebody that's trained in the paperwork side of it so things are better organized.
And we've already mentioned the reports that are, the town's responsibility to audit and to, report for the funds. And, a clerk would be much needed in that respect.
So we should have the numbers at some point, right? Cases.
Yeah, we'll talk to the judge. I mean, the judge is elected as well, and he can come in and talk to us about that.
Going back to Jim Selkirk, wasn't the agreement, wasn't the way things worked, that Jim would actually appear at court and Hope would do the paperwork?
But that's an agreement that they have between them. It didn't have to be that way.
I understand that, but if we, for years, had one judge actually hearing all the cases and the other judge doing the paperwork, and we're hiring someone to deal with the paperwork, I don't see why we need another.
But the thing is, when Mike got elected, he could have said, Hope, I'm not doing that agreement anymore. I'm taking half the caseload and you're taking half the caseload, period. I mean, the agreement that Jim had with Hope and the agreement that Mike has with Hope doesn't have to go that way. They're supposed to be splitting the case for load. Whether it's working that way or not, I don't know if that's our business, but that's the way it's supposed to be when we had 2 justices.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yep.
that we just plain read through this and then go back and see what we can cut? That way you've got read through, you can think on what you want to say, what you want to cut, but that way we've gotten through the budget. Okay?
That
And
sounds
then,
fun.
because we may have to get Mike to give you the answers to these questions.
Well, and also we've been here 15 minutes and we're on line 4.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right, didn't change the contractual expenses, the personal services for the supervisor. The first line is a 5% increase. That's supervisor salary. The personal services, the second line is,
75% of mine.
what's the rest of it?
What do you mean? That's just 75% of her salary period.
Oh, okay. That's what I mean. That's the bigger one. The other ones are the small ones. Thank you.
And the rest is favor salary, the other 25%?
The first line is favor salary.
Okay,
Second line is 75% of mine.
The other 25% of hers comes out of highway. It's not even on that line.
And then the third personal service line is for the deputy.
Oh, there you are. And the contractual expense was $6,000. What did I spend the $6,000 on this year? I mean, I spent, there was $4,785 as of 9:30.
I think most of it was the city trip.
Okay. Okay, budget personal services, that's the budget officer. It's a 5% increase. There's no contractual expense. The assessors, yeah, we're down to 1, but I just kept it, we don't know if anybody's going to write themselves in and join the assessors after the election. So for the budget point of view, we'll have to just assume that we have 3 assessors right now. To be honest with you, if we go down to a 1 assessor posture out of necessity, I think the 21,425 is a good basis for us to use as a budget going forward for the 1 assessor. Keene pays 50. Jay pays 50, but there are other towns like St. Armand and Lewis that don't pay half that much. So I just figured that if we budget this year for the full complete of things, and next year when we're looking at the budget and we're down to 1 and we town may be forced to hire somebody, that will at least not starting at 0 or something so low that it becomes problematic. Town clerk, that's a 5%. Increase the contractual expense because, let me see why.
She was looking to do training this year and possibly the city.
Okay,
Yeah, just wanted it in there. Jerry used to have a bigger budget, and we cut it down one year, which I see being clerk, how it was a mistake when we did it to him. Oh, we cut it way down, but the budget's in such bad shape this year. Leave it at 35 and we'll try to raise it next year.
Yep.
I'm trying to get it so that it's what it should be for a person coming in. But yeah, I was looking for going to the city this year if they offer courses.
but that was you who helped put that number in. I'm just trying to remind myself if that was
Yeah.
something I was thinking.
No, that was me.
Okay,
So we can change that to the 35 again.
thank you.
Nicole, just for one person on that trip to go to New York, what is that, like $1,200, $1,300?
Roughly.
Oh, okay. So you could still go on the trip and there's still money there for you to do some things, but.
The stamps come out of there. There's a lot of stuff that comes out of that. But this year, we just can't raise it up, so it's better.
Okay.
We'll work on it next year.
Okay, could you go through the buildings for me, Nicole?
Yes.
Because it's a difference.
I'm sorry, you went on to page 3?
Mhm.
Okay. So personal services, the top line, okay. So we've had an employee who was shared with the fire district and the town. That person was in the Parks Department. as you know, John does not really want that position anymore, so we're looking to put a clerical person in instead. So that's why we added so much to the personal service line in buildings, anticipating that hopefully we get a clerical position.
I'm totally befuddled here. 3,000 to 52,000.
Yes. So what happens, you'll see when you get to the parks that there's going to be a decrease in the personal services.
Page 7.
Okay, let's just keep going down page 3.
All right. So, yeah, just make the note. Well, we'll go through that. The contractual expenses, that's a $5,000 increase.
Because we go over in that expense every single year.
That's right. So right now we have spent on that part, we budgeted 15 and we're at the end of September, we were at 22,000. So we just increased that line item to 20.
What are we going over budget on? Or I will ask that later.
Okay, special items, go right ahead.
The unallocated insurance, that's the building and vehicles and all that good stuff. And we go over that every year too. Contingency is the next one. Speaking with Kathy, the lady that is helping me, she flat out told me that she does not work with any other town that has a contingency of less than 40,000. It's just unheard of. 10,000 is ridiculous.
I think it can be 10% of our budget, maximum.
Right.
Yeah.
So Favor and I decided, well, let's try for 20 and
I mean, realistically, shouldn't we be, if we're over on contractual buildings, we really should be pulling from that to balance that out, right? I mean, that's what that budget is for. That's what contingency is for, right?
Right.
So we should.
Page 4. Okay, so animal control. You can see that the personal services line is gone and the increase in the contractual expense. We are going to team up with the town of Jay, and I think we're going to luck out, and the SCBA may agree to continue to offer us a contract for next year for our dangerous dogs, but that's still not finished yet. When John left as animal control officer, we are now paying a guy from Jay named Trevor Carl the rest of the salary for that year, for the year to be our animal control officer. He's done all the training, he's interested in the job, and he is working, he's going to take over in the town of Jay as well, and he has a deputy animal control officer. So what we're going to do is sign up a shared services agreement. They'll be an employee of the town of Jay, but we will provide a contract like that for animal control services for next year. So that becomes a contract and not somebody who's on the payroll. Safety inspection, that looks the same. So I don't, okay. Public health, personal services, that's nothing. Of course, it's only $250, but I don't.
so in years past, we always gave that to Life Flight, and there is no Life Flight now.
Okay. And how about the 20,000?
That's where we always put the BTI before, not knowing that there's now a new line item for that. So it literally just moved down and it's increasing $600 for next year.
So that's the insect control.
So what happens with the town buildings like this and youth center for the maintenance, the monthly maintenance? Where's that in? Contractual of parks or,
Building.
Buildings.
okay. Is that in the budget?
That was the item on the
It's in
page
there.
before. Yeah.
It's accounted for. Okay, thank you.
In previous years, this is the black fly control, right?
Yes.
Yep. So that's been paid for using bed tax in the past, correct?
Right, but we still have to show it as an expense.
Okay, I understand that.
Page 5, superintendent of highways, personal services, it's at 5%. And it's personal services, that is the extra part for Nicole, I'm assuming, the next
Yes.
one?
The second line.
And we didn't change the contractual expense. Yeah. Yeah, we've, the contractual expense at the end of, at the beginning of September was they've spent $959, so that's not, so that's why we didn't look at that one. Garage equipment, contractual expense, we didn't change. Again, they haven't spent what they budgeted so far. This year it's budgeted 15, they've spent 6,600. So as of in September, so we just left that as is. Street lighting, same. Now contractual expense sidewalks. Nicole, would you look at that one?
Well, previous administration had me take it out because we hadn't been doing any work, but Favor and I decided we might want to put something back in there because they're eventually going to need some work. They get hit by plows and the salt deteriorates them, all that good stuff.
Page 6, we've got some changes. Well, not for the Visitors Bureau contractual expense. We kept that flat. The next one, could you go through?
The roost.
Yeah.
So it's asterisk so that you can kind of follow. If you look up in publicity and you see Visitors Bureau CE and it has the asterisks, we're just trying to show you that we are taking those funds from the roost money to pay for the Visitors Bureau and some of these other things. On the next page, beach personal services is also asterisk. Parks equipment is also asterisk. In lieu of you guys wanting to do your playground equipment, we bumped that up. And I may have missed it on the DTI line, but it was meant to be there.
So this is bed tax money.
It is.
Obviously, I'm wondering why it's showing as, all right, so it's showing as that we're spending of that 130 roughly that we're going to get in revenue. Why is it showing as 4,000 being spent?
Because for the 2024 budget, it was allocated that you were going to spend 60,000 of the tax money. And so with that being said, if we follow through with that for 2025, if you take the 60 and you subtract the 14,000 for the Visitors Bureau and the
20,000 for black flag. Yep.
right, and the parks equipment and so forth, there's only 4,000 of that money's left to spend.
Okay.
On something
Of the 100, of the 60, of the 100.
of 60.
Okay.
Veteran services, Do we actually spend any money on that?
It's all we do there, is we purchase the flags for the cemetery graves.
Okay, there's no reason to change that. Programs of aging, we used to have $8,000 in personal services.
For a bus driver.
That's the bus driver, okay, so we're not having a bus driver, so that's why, that's a big zero. Go back to parks.
And so the first personal services is John. And it also, it's a 5% salary increase, but also would include longevity pay. The second line item, it looks like maybe I forgot to decrease that by the other, so.
Yep.
That's,
So you see the 71,
Mhm.
that wasn't decreased by the,
55, 50 something.
or whatever the difference is.
Was that added right then? If we decrease that one by 57,000, does that mean in the end it's not 227?
Yeah, we're,
So it's 71,000 minus 52,100, is that the two figures? Okay.
That can't be right, because that would assume that Ashton and Chip are only making 20,000.
yeah, so it's gonna be a different number, because,
That's all together.
also in the building, part of the building salary would be, isn't just a part-time clerk, right? Pardon me, we'll go through this. So, yeah, at some point, so of course, what happened is, we had we split we helped pay for an EMT with the fire district. And that person works part-time for the town. Right now, the position is vacant and being advertised. We have, we're looking for, I discussed before, getting a clerk inside the town hall to help out. And so the position we're advertising now is for is somebody to do clerical work within the town hall and then to work in the afternoons as the afternoon EMT for the fire department. And so that's saved, we haven't lost a position because the salaries are going to be pretty much commensurate. And
Those didn't need to go to the board, that position creation.
I don't know. We haven't got any applicants yet. It's not really a creation. We're trying to replace somebody right now.
Who are we replacing?
You're basically just moving her from a parks department to the office department. It's basically the
Let's move
same
moves from per parks to building.
building, yeah, because you're still having an EMT paid by commissioners and part by the town. It's just instead of about working with John, they'll now be in the office working with
Nicole and Trevor.
Nicole and doing that.
So she's going to stay with the fire department,
Brooke is gone.
Brooke's
She's left.
gone. Brooke left already,
the fire department.
everywhere. Brooke no longer works for the town of Wilmington.
I did not know that.
So we're gonna hire her to work in the office?
No, we're hiring a new employee.
She was just making a reference of Brooke was that person.
We're gonna
Now
hire a
we
new
need to
employee,
replace
male
her.
or female. We're gonna hire a new employee to work. Instead of, John does not want to replace the employee in his department. So we still need a EMT / town employee. So instead of being a EMT / parks, it'll now be an EMT / office.
This person
Town
has to
hall.
work at the ambulance as well.
Yes, if a call comes in, the person will leave this office and go take the ambulance call. After
No, I know what Brooke was doing,
Yeah.
but that's gonna be interesting to fill. I was not aware of any of this.
Yes.
When
It
did
is
this
gonna be
happen?
an interesting position to fill. But
Did this happen after the last town board meeting?
She left at the end of September.
John doesn't need another employee in the summertime?
John doesn't want another EMT/clerks.
Yeah, I mean, he's been pretty clear.
Yeah.
And,
So-
and to, so the town has managed to use this chance of getting its daytime EMT needs and requirements covered with this kind of arrangement with the town. And eventually, the town will be not given that opportunity or choice. The state will mandate full-time EMTs sitting and do blah, blah, blah. And so from our point of view, it's worked okay because we've gotten good value. And as long as the state is still letting towns think creatively in this direction, we'll continue to try. And also, it helps us with, in a year like this to create a new position with clerical would have been a big ask. And so, why not keep this going?
I just worry that next summer,
Mhm.
the Parks Department's going to need another employee.
Well, John can come talk to us about that. I mean, he's been quite,
It was his idea.
it's his idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to steer anybody.
He's got Chip.
Well, that's not just as he's getting it.
How much does Chip make an hour?
I don't know.
1750.
Next, equipment. That is the proposed playground thing that we discussed at one of the meetings. And the contractual expenses stayed the same. The beach, the personnel services. Well, we'll see how that goes. Why did I think 2022? Oh, that's because that's how it actually worked out. Yeah, so we budgeted, extra money for that.
You did a budget amendment this year. and
Right.
Increased it to the 28, but we didn't use it.
Yeah, because they kept
Calling in,
not showing up and closing the beach without
not
telling
calling in. and not showing up.
So, and taking 2 weeks off in the middle
And
of
some
summer.
of that money is taking out of roofs to take it with the double
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Yep. Actually, that's pretty much, that's an amenity kind of feel that I get, a community enhancement type of thing. And that was what helped us with the youth center program last year, was to put some of that, the bed tax money in for the beach and then moving what was budgeted for the beach into the youth center. Contractual expense, that's about right?
Mhm.
Youth center, we left it flat. I can't think.
Because you have things like the kerosene
Mhm.
to heat it in the wintertime. The internet comes out of there for the building.
Okay. Band concerts remain the same. Joint youth program. Could you explain that one?
It's something that's been in the budget since I've been here. My understanding of this is Wilmington J and Lake Placid used to kind of combine youth programs. And so at the end of the summer, if a Wilmington kid went to the Lake Placid program, Lake Placid would bill us.
Have we done anything with that?
We haven't done that in years,
Okay.
but it's, you guys want to take it out, that's completely up to you.
Page 8, library stayed the same. And the historian stayed the same.
Nicole, has that, 10,000 library, has that always been there? For as long as you can remember?
It was 10,000 for, well,
Well, it increased a little bit, but more or less. I think at one point it was 7,500. Don would remember with me, and then we raised it to 10 or whatever, but.
and then a couple of years ago, they asked for a little more, and we said 400, so.
Okay, page 9. Planning, same, flat. Refuse and garbage. How did we do that one?
That is half of Doug's salary.
And why did his
Go back.
salary go down when everybody else got a 5%?
Well, partially because garbage used to be its own fund, and if you recall, we said that we were going to just put it in general. So when we did that, whatever we had budgeted in the garbage just came forward. In the past, it was always just kind of put a number in there to make it come out right.
Gotcha.
Are you gonna use the actual number, Nicole, when you do the next step? Or
Or is that the actual number?
That is half of his salary.
that is happening, okay.
And the contractual expense, is that's the hauling the stuff to the county?
Correct.
Community beautification.
Typically, when we buy flowers and hay bales and things like that.
Right now well, as of the end of, beginning of September, they spent $1,884 on that. Code enforcement,
That's the other half of his salary.
and then cemeteries, that's where he gets the raise.
No.
No?
So at the end of the year, I'm supposed to take that and move it up. Help me out here.
I'm not sure I can on this one.
Yes. So in the past, you guys always wanted me to take the cemetery's salary. It wasn't to be a stipend. It was supposed to be part of his salary.
Gotcha.
Am I saying that correctly?
So there's no longer a separate, years ago, there used to be a separate cemetery sexton. Now it's part of Doug's salary. So the 26,055 plus that makes up his salary. But what Faber's talking about is the contractual and why did that increase, and that is the increase he's talking about.
Oh,
Yeah, and I do know the answer to that question.
yes.
We are starting to put away, try to get some money towards opening up the upper level of the Hazelton Cemetery. I met with Ralph Schischler. He's got a proposal and an estimate for laying it out. And then I have to also speak with an engineer about, so I figured we should probably budget some money towards the professional services required to help lay out the new set of plots in the upper part of Hazelton Cemetery. And knowing how much professionals charge, I think 12,000 seemed like a nice round number to get started. So that's that. All right, now this is up to you. I'm sorry to say, Nicole. Retirement and all that stuff.
So retirement, and this is based on the estimates that we get from Neisler's. It's going up, the percentages have gone up, so I was trying to adjust for that increase in there. Social Security, well, again, the more salary, where you're gonna pay in for that. Unemployment insurance stayed the same, disability insurance stayed the same, hospital and medical. We decreased because we went to this new plan. It's working out pretty well. So based on the premiums and the usage, we decided we'd go with 75% of the whole premium, if you will. And it should work out all right.
Now we have, we don't have a bond anticipation note when you get into the debt service. Those are the serial bonds for the dam.
Yes.
Now it's a long-term bond. We don't have the bond anticipation note for that, so that's why there's a change from this year to last year. Interest rates went up, so that's probably another change for that. So we broke out the interest rates as well. Is that what you did? Is that the principal payment on top? Yeah, that's what you did. Okay.
So the town spends roughly 112 a year for the dam.
Actually, this is going to include the dam and the highway roof that we have to pay back.
Yep. Do you happen to know how much for each?
So the garage repairs, the principal on that is 40,000. And that'll be for 5 years. And the dam, the principal, it changes every year. It's just the way those work out on the serial bonds. But so for 25, the principal on that is 22,200. The interest on the dam is you pay it twice a year is how they want that. So that's how that worked out.
And so just doing the math real quickly, I could be completely wrong, but it seems like it's 25,000 a year in interest for each, roughly.
So the interest on the highway roof it's only 8,800 for 24. That'll be $7,040 for 25.
I'm sorry, can you please repeat that?
No, I'll make a copy of that.
Sure.
I don't need a copy.
So
You'll have all your information. Anybody else want one?
Yeah, something from them.
Sure.
And we're reimbursed by the state for the dam payments?
no,
No.
that's ours.
We were in the past and that's over?
Never.
No, that's the water district.
We got our grant money back, Tim, if that's probably what you're thinking. It was just a lump payment of whatever and.
That's right. Yep. That was a portion of the cost.
Yes. Do you, I should have asked you this earlier, but I'm sure you have it relatively available, fund balances?
I do. And again, these are
I know,
estimates.
as of right now, or is this estimate at the end of the year, estimates as of right now?
What I'm going to tell you is right now.
Okay.
I estimate for general, conservatively 200,000. Highway, conservatively 100,000, and water as a break even.
Okay, I guess that's,
Thank you.
How conservative are we talking here?
Thank you.
Hundreds of thousands or? 50,000, 100, like, my conservative and your conservative are probably pretty different.
Given what I am trying to accomplish with Kathy is why I'm saying conservatively. Until I can tell you 100% firm, this is the best that I can do.
So let me just be clear on this. When you say 200 and 100, is that for leftover out of last year's budget, or is that all the money that the town has, period, in savings?
That would be fund balance. So there's a calculation for that.
Fund balance from last year's budget, what we haven't spent.
Right, so you take the beginning balance from 23,
Mhm.
plus the revenues to date, less the expenditures to date, and then, so that would be through the end of September is how we figured this. And then projected revenues through the end of the year, and projected expenses is how the formula comes out.
So that's, I got that. What I'm asking is, what do we have in our savings accounts then?
I have that. Copy these for you guys as well.
Your hand the rest.
Thank you.
But out of these totals is still got to be taken the rest of the year.
Correct. And like the big expenses that are coming up for general and highway and water are, in December, we have to make those retirement payments and they're huge.
So let's just say conservatively, and you tell me if I'm wrong, let's just take each one of these figures and minus 25% on them, and that's about what we'll have in savings. That's
Roughly, yes.
okay.
The document you just passed out on the second page, at the bottom of the second page, beautification. Is that the bed tax money that has not been spent?
No,
No.
that is the money I was talking to you about the other day that were donations for the skating pavilion.
But only 200,000 is,
Correct. So there's another 100 there that we moved a couple years ago from unexpended roofs money. But you said bed tax, and I don't want you to think that's all bed tax. It's not, only 100,000.
right. It's not roof money.
I'm sorry, so 200,000 was the donations from the private donor, right? That had to be used towards the pavilion or something along that line.
Yes.
And then the rest of that balance is from unexpended tourism funds.
Community enhancement
Okay.
roofs money, yes.
And these are interest-bearing accounts.
Yes,
Okay.
a high interest.
So,
Thank
did
you
it
for
go
that.
down at all? After they
Not much,
reduced the rate?
not much.
So, and I think you said that there were other donations towards the skating pavilion, and it was probably less than 5,000 would be other donations. I don't want to misquote you. I believe that's what we talked about, but my question was, there has to be other bed tax money somewhere. Where is it?
It's been expended.
All bed tax money, but roughly 100,000 from previous years has been spent.
Thank you, sorry. Yes, because, in past years, the board has said, well, we want to spend, again, we paid for the Visitors Bureau, we paid for,
Well, we were paid for the beach program this year.
beach, the BTI program, different things throughout the years. And so whatever wasn't spent, if it was not allocated to be put in a special savings account, now becomes part of your fund balance.
So the 200,000 fund balance includes bed tax money as well?
Yes,
The general fund, not the general fund.
general savings, that NY class report that I gave you.
This one right here that you said, the general conservative 200,000 fund balance,
Right.
but we have 300,000 in the beautification bank account,
But
not
that,
part of it.
no,
Okay.
that money cannot be spent on anything but what it was put there for.
So the 100,000
Yes,
is part of our budget, right?
yeah, it's part of
Part of
the
the
fund.
savings account.
It's part of the fund balance.
It's part of this 200.
No,
So 100,
it's not part of the 200. It's part of the 900, right?
Yes.
Not part of the 200. It's part of the other thing that I asked for when it's,
If you
Where
look at
was
this report, the top line,
yes.
if it was not told to me to put it in the beautification fund, then at the end of the year, it gets put in that,
Up here at 952.
yes.
so we have
Shouldn't
about $1 million in the general fund for the end of the year.
Minus 25%.
25%.
Because it's not the end of the year.
Like $700,000 left over as a fund balance.
Conservatively, again, there's expenses coming up in the next few months, is why I'm saying, don't be planning on 900,000.
I'm
But
not,
that's what I'm saying. Let's just say she said 700. But another 300,000 of that is beautification. That's also in that money.
it's a separate
It's
line.
separate.
Gotcha.
Right there.
So these numbers aren't really real.
That's what we said, minus about 25% off.
No, these 200 and 100.
Because I said conservatively 200,000 for general fund, because again, I want to make sure that the figures that are coming forward, because again, I'm combining two systems into one. We want to make 100% sure those figures are correct.
I understand, but I think they're getting confused because the 900,000 is not just from this year. That's from the past 20 years of any money that the town has
Yes.
had left. The 200,000 is what's going to be left at the end of this year, unexpended out of what we budgeted last year.
Thank you.
So they're two different things. 900,000 is all-time money that the town has saved. $200,000 is what the town has left at the end of this budget year. So that money would be added to the end. So let's just say at the end of this year, we have $200,000. We're going to say 5,000 of it's going into a truck fund, 5,000 of it's going to whatever is left gets added to the general fund savings account, which is in this New York class account.
It should be used to decrease the tax levy.
That's a board decision.
That's how that class that we went to, they said that we should be doing that.
They've done that before here, and it really messed up the next year.
It's not a balanced budget when you do
And
that.
it's
It's
not,
not the proper way.
Well, I didn't make it up.
No, I'm not saying you did, I'm just saying that they've done that before. And it really made the next year's budget a nightmare.
I know, but taxpayers seeing that we have 900 some odd, probably
But
over $1 million.
Will you please
in a
explain
savings
what
account.
even the auditors say we're supposed to have, almost a half a year's budget in reserve at all times?
yes.
That's why we have that money. We're not supposed to have no money in reserve. What if we had a flood like North Carolina just have and we have no money in there? That, the town's always supposed to have at least a half year's money in reserve.
They didn't, they said a reasonable amount, they didn't say any amount.
And we're actually low compared to most towns. I bet you Keene's got 3 million or more. Probably low on that.
Are you going above the tax cap? Do you guys ask the taxpayers to pay for your balance?
We're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay,
And
so
I
Marcy,
can tell you
field
right
rentals.
now, we're well over $1 million in our fund balance, way over. And we carry that every time. And we do not use it for our tax. We do levy debt. Nope. We never have. I think our budget this year, I think we're $649 different.
Nicole, thank you for doing this. It's helpful to have.
I think that's what we're on.
I have so many questions, starting with just like big picture. I think when the average person hears fund balance, they're thinking of the amount that the town has saved over 20 years, not at the end of 1 year. Am I wrong about that? But when I think of fund balance, I think of the 900 figure, not the 200 figure. Am I misunderstanding or?
Well, it has to be looked at a year by year basis.
Yes.
Okay,
You,
So-
you asked me what an estimated fund balance would be for 24, and I'm saying conservatively 200,000.
got it. So that's all time. It's going to be somewhere around 700,000, roughly, approximately.
Of the general-ish, right?
Maybe.
Possibly. Hypothetically.
Well, it'll be a lot closer to 7 than 2.
It's two different things, but yes.
My other question is, shouldn't the bed tax money be have its own line item and be separated, just like the parks or just like anything else? It's already confusing, and it gets so confusing when it's split up in multiple different places and put within the fund balance. These are things that are only supposed, according to the law, should only be spent on certain projects, on certain things, not on. Do you agree with
Yep,
that? Okay.
But the board for 2024 said they want to use $60,000 of Roost money for the Visitors Bureau,
Yes,
the Black Flag Control, equipment, etc.
yes, and I agree with that completely. But my question is, the 70,000 that's left over, it seems like it's being divvied up in multiple different places instead of all being in the same place.
No. The 60,000 is what is in the budget.
Mhm.
60,000 is in here as a revenue. We're saying we're going to definitely collect $60,000 of Roost money in revenue. So then you have to turn around on the expense side and say, okay, where are you gonna spend that 60,000?
Mhm.
And that's why it's all, I can't put 60,000 of Roost money all by itself, and then who would know that out of that is coming the Visitors Bureau money and et cetera.
I do understand what Tim's saying, to just make it easier for you, so it's not so complicated. What he is asking is the other $70,000. He just wants to see where that money goes at the end of the year. And then we know it's going back. If it's not being spent, that's part of the 109,000 that's currently unexpended fund balance over the years.
If that is what the board tells me to do with it, yes.
Right.
Otherwise, it just becomes general fund balance. Not specified for anything.
I think it has to stay in that account. Doesn't it? I mean,
No,
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 Whether it does or it doesn't, it seems more logical because then we would know how much we have. Otherwise, it just gets washed in with fund balance, and unless someone takes the time to actually go through all these numbers and back to 2021 and 2020 as well, and subtract and add and do the calculations, and that money is now just in the general fund, except 100,000 that's in beautification.
correct.
Okay.
What other communities will do with that is they create a special, they'll create its own sort of fund line. They'll put a different kind of, office of controller code on it. so that we can look at the revenues and the appropriations from that fund and then get a balance at the end of the year showing that fund. It's been a lot of work for Nicole and with Kathy's help, getting us off of Quicken and then using this kind of software, which will allow us to do that going forward. It's something I would certainly appreciate and approve if we created a special line where you can see that account being accounted for separately. But I'm certainly not, I think we've made incredible strides with this as an information tool this year. Go ahead.
Not to interrupt you, but it is in your monthly reports. When I give you an operating statement, it is there separately.
No, I understand. But I'm just, I've seen ones where they've got it, where you can actually do the balance sheet on it. And instead of, revenue and appropriation kind of thing. But anyway, next year. If we have a part-time, somebody helping out with lots of the other things, we could work in that direction as a board. So, that's why I'm sort of optimistic that if we get our next EMT person and they qualify to, wants to work in the town hall, it'll give us the opportunity to work on these things. But I think, by and large, I didn't quite appreciate yet exactly how the fund balance thing was working. I appreciate the explanation tonight.
Totally.
And I wasn't quite certain. It's kind of a, feeling that suddenly you're like, okay, where am I getting the money from for this stuff? And I'm not sure. And I think it's really, it's a good start. Now the discussion about how much of the fund balance should be used to pay for, to reduce the levy. If you're talking about the meeting, we're all sitting there was a range. I mean, he was always saying reasonable.
Yeah.
Reasonable, but then you had the longtime Minerva supervisor talking about how he wants as much fund balance as possible.
Mm-hmm.
The county is going in a direction of getting as much fund balance as possible because they don't have any confidence in the grants or the promises for emergency washouts. And you'd find that when a levy for John Bliss is $300,000 to produce a culvert for that, that money goes very quickly with the expenses that they have. And so we'd be, really hard pressed because if we have no money at all, without trying to create some sort of plan going forward to save as much money as we can, put it into reserve accounts towards something that we can anticipate. One of the things that I liked about reading Eddie's, as I'm watching out Eddie, Eddie's always slightly more than he expended, and at the end of the year he'll sweep it all into a nice reserve account because he knows that when that water plant goes down, it's going to be ouch. And he had something blow at Whiteface a couple weeks ago, an electric panel, and he's running around spending $10,000.
It looks better if we put it in a reserve than to just have it sitting in an unexpended
I'm
fund
saying,
balance. We should, if we're going to, there's a Chicken Little worst case scenario, yes, we need to have this money available. It's going to look better for the people who are increasing in their taxes if we can say it is for this, and this, not to just have a savings account for the town. That's what I'm saying. And they said verbatim, they said it's fiscally prudent to give it back to the taxpayers, a reasonable amount to keep in your fund balance.
Yeah.
To keep in the fund balance and to do the other.
Yeah,
The reasonable amount, like we said, is a 6-month reserve is what I've always heard.
It was 300,000 to replace the culvert on John Bliss Road.
yeah, we haven't paid for it yet. We're scrounging around for money. We're looking for a grant.
Basically, I agree with everything you said regarding the bed tax money and how it's, how we keep track of it and how we know what we have and what we've spent.
Yep.
And that's, maybe that he said what I was trying to say in a more polite way. I do appreciate getting this information. I've wanted it for quite a while. How long would it take to provide the same information for 2021 and 2020?
Why don't we, yeah, we're gonna get through the budget process first before we consider auditing.
Not auditing, I just,
That's not in our
want-
system like this is. That's on the old system, Quicken's system.
Yeah, that's all right.
And
I
right now,
just,
she's trying to move everything.
yeah,
I'm not trying to audit anything. I just want to know how much of that money is available. That's all.
Well, I think she pretty much has it. 2023 was 54, 2024 is gonna be 51. 2022, we actually went in the hole.
Well, that's because the 100,000 was transferred to the state.
Well, I know, but it still shows where it went for the past 3 years.
Yes, but not good.
We actually
years
had
back
money
before
from
that.
21 from Roost money, but I was only asked to do those 2 years. So we weren't really in the hole. It's just that that money was there and
I understand, but at some point, it's like, we're
Well,
moving forward.
Should I just, if I want to know how much of that money exists, it seems like there's around 50,000 left over every year. Is that a sane estimate for the other?
probably roughly.
Okay. Good, thanks again for doing this. This is good to know.
so
Well, somebody's gonna start, so I'm just gonna start giving my thoughts.
go right ahead.
The next person can go and we can go, because otherwise we're not making any progress on it. First thing I think we should consider, and Laura brought it up too, is not a 5% raise. I think between a 3 and 4% raise is more realistic. That right off the bat saves us about $10,000 a year, even if we went to 3.5 or 4. I know the town of Jay is only doing 3. They got $2 an hour last year. I think $1 an hour increase is more than fair and still a fairly good raise. I know 3% yourselves. So-
I mean,
I think that we should stick around the same town as the rest of the towns. And
I know about, we've talked about the 5, because we're still behind on our salaries this town, what our guys make compared to other towns. But I think because we're,
well, I mean,
we have more
we're back to
money,
mid-pack.
I think.
There's still
And I
towns that are
think
lower
3
than us.
is, I think 3 is a range that we could go with.
I'd just like to look at what inflation's been for the past 5 years and what the salaries were 5 years ago and what they are now, and see if we've kept pace with inflation. That's all. Right.
Well,
So if we haven't, then that would steer me towards 5, so that we're somewhat keeping pace with inflation, or at least not falling farther behind.
I just look at it as we got 3 weeks before election, and if we start nitpicking every little thing and looking back at everything that we do over trends over the past 5 years, I look at it as, we gave them, they were always consistently, before you were on board, and Don knows, anywhere between 3 and 4% every single year. We were falling behind because a couple of years inflation was 7 or 8%. And then last year they got, I think, was supposed to an 8% raise.
Yeah, I love
$2 an hour.
I love the $2 an hour versus the percentage stuff.
Okay.
Just drives me crazy.
Well, 4% is roughly $1 an hour.
I know, I'm just saying, they switch horses in
we
the
had it with
middle of the
longevity.
street.
And there was longevity, so it was
We had
$2 an hour. That's why I said about 8%, because it's 4% this year is $1 an hour. $2 an hour is around 8%, plus longevity added on top of that. So in the end, certain employees may have got a 10% raise, certain employees might have only got an 8% raise. But I think we can definitely save a little bit of money by making that change off the bat. I'll just go down through my list, and then anybody's welcome to jump in from there. I'm gonna go with Don's recommendation on town clerk. It was 35, it's 5. Maybe we meet in the middle and go 4,000 this year, so it's a little bit of an increase.
Somebody taking
But
those?
we save 1,000. This is just my thoughts, and again,
That's fine.
anybody's able to go, and I'm just gonna go fast down through them. Contractual expense on the town, I think that should go up because we always are behind there.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
What page?
What
Page 3,
Contractual expense for the town.
On what?
buildings.
For the buildings?
I think that should stay because I know we're always behind on that. And what that includes is any maintenance on the building, it's the fuel oil for the buildings,
Phones, internet.
internet, everything, and all services are going up. So I can't see how we would keep that page 3 favor,
Yep.
third line item.
Because right now we're at 22,000, right?
20.
Yeah,
It was only 15.
Right, but I think you said right now,
Oh, yes, we've
we've
spent
spent
22.
22,000 already.
That could be.
Yeah.
So what do you want to make it then?
I was just, like you said, I'm just gonna go quick and just give my thoughts and then
Yeah, go ahead.
people can go down through, make notes and talk back to us. Contingency, again, that's just an item that should be built into the budget. You know, we can obviously cut that back to 10 because we do have a relatively healthy fund balance, but it's not a huge fund balance, but that's something that can be a board decision. On this particular budget, we've done it other years. It's not in here. If we want to still take VTI out of roost funds, I mean, that's 20,000 that we can save, but it doesn't appear that it's been taken out of roost funds this year, Nicole.
It is, but I forgot the
Okay,
asterisk.
Yeah.
so it is.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's all I needed to know.
Anybody think that's a good contract? I'm just curious.
I don't think we have much choice.
I think
That's
we-
why we've always gone with that.
Well, I'm gonna put in some, let's monitor to make sure we know they're out there flagging stuff and actually putting it in.
Jay pays 19,360. Jay does. Town of Jay.
Wow, we may have more streams, right? No, we don't.
What did you say?
Go ahead.
20,700.
Good.
Sidewalks, we basically cut that out because we said, even if we put that in there, we can always take it out of unexpended roost funds at that point. Hence the 70,000 that's left. We never actually had it as a line item. We just cut it out and we said we probably are going to have roost funds that we don't spend. We can use it as that and cut the sidewalks out of it. That's why it was taken out of the budget originally.
Now, the contractual for the garage, going back up one line on yours, we spent 6,600 so far this year. Do we normally go over up to that 15,000?
Usually,
Do we?
sometimes more. It just,
I was just wondering, because you
Well-
said we were at 6,600.
Can
I
I,
was just
can
wondering if we
I
could go
give
half on
one
that or.
bit of advice on that? And that's why it's a little bit less. Because of all the upgrades to the highway, we spent a lot less in
Right.
fuel oil
plus,
versus.
Okay.
well, you switch to propane out there
Exactly,
too.
that's what I meant. So I personally think that sidewalks should be cut, just because we can take them out of unexpended roost funds or at least make that number maybe 1,500 so we can do repairs and not. On page 7, parks, right now, this is just a kind of a comment, Nicole. There was equipment fund, and that's where John bought his trimmers and lawnmowers and everything. That was $3,000 a year. Would it be hard to just separate out playground equipment as the 17,000 and leave that 3,000? So John knows he has 3,000 in there, and then the other 17,000 was for playground, because next year we can basically, if we don't buy any playground equipment, we can cut that line item back out of there. But we still want to save John's 3,000 in equipment.
Okay.
Is that a hard change?
No, it'll just be another line item. It'll be the same account.
Exactly. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want John to get confused, because that other 17,000 is allocated just for playground.
Got it.
Can I ask a question just on page 6? Beneath Visitors Bureau publicity, the stipend we give them, what is that 20,000 and 4,000? Maybe we already discussed that.
That's the money, that's the roof's money. The community enhancement money that she said that out of the $60,000, the unexpended balance is the $4,000.
So we don't actually have
In
a
our
place that it's
revenue-
being used.
In the revenue item,
The
there's
$4,000,
$60,000 under community enhancement funds.
Mhm.
And then from that 60, she has all the asterisk items,
Got it.
totals, the,
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Got it. Thank
right?
Yes, correct.
Thank you. What about that joint youth program, that 3,000 on page 7?
That's fine. Again, you can
We haven't
bring that up
used it.
stuff
I
too.
think we remove it.
Remove it, and then if by chance we have a child that needs a grant for something, we can address it at that time.
But we also don't spend the 10 and 7 from the youth center
Right.
budget.
So I think we could remove it.
I like having it in there.
We spend the 10 and 7.
Yeah, we do.
That's for like when we pay our summer people and stuff, the teachers that were hired for the youth program and stuff this year.
I think it pays for the ski program.
Youth program is paid from by bottles.
But
They're
it-
collected and by grants that they get sometimes.
But again, it did pay for the teachers and stuff that they had running the youth program and any
Yes.
supplies they
The
need, things
10,000
like
was
that.
for their salaries, the other is for supplies.
Bus rentals,
But,
everything.
yeah, but again, the kerosene to keep it warm in there and the lights and
So we
the
definitely-
Plus, they
internet.
got an
and-
AC, they got an air conditioner.
So the personnel, we're paying $10,000.
We had 2 counselors this summer, so,
Right.
yeah.
We did do. That was,
I don't have the exact figure in front of me because this is, we're doing the budget, so I don't have the number we actually spent in front of me.
But it was close to that.
I think so.
With the band concerts, does anyone else have any thoughts? Nicole, you can tell me if you disagree. I'm not trying to step on your toes. You basically run that? Is that right?
I inherited it from Shirley when I took over her position.
Is it something you enjoy?
I'll answer that, no.
What is, okay, well, that leads me to the next question. Does anyone else feel that that's something the Visitors Bureau should take over?
I
I
had
think
that,
that's a great idea.
I had that conversation at the beginning of the year,
Anyone interested?
at the time.
But maybe,
We do get donations for those concerts too.
Not enough. So in any event, I'll be happy to revisit that with them. Where am I? Oh,
So I was
band.
on page 9 when I was
Yep.
just going back down through.
Yep.
On my thoughts, and then again, it can go to somebody else. I've been a big supporter of increasing the cemetery budget. We've talked about this 100 times, Favor, and I do think that needs to be increased. But because of the nature of this year's budget and how much we've
Right.
went up, I think we can maybe do a compromise there and go up to maybe, I don't know,
6?
6,500, add 5,000 to it.
Okay.
And gives us something, and then we add 5,000 again next year, but
Yep.
at least it's a step in the right direction.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
Karen, didn't we have that survey once?
Not why I've been there, and if it was a general survey of the lot, and this is Faber's conversation was a layout of new lots, and we've never had that done.
I thought we did something about
no,
lots.
No.
We had to have the layout and the general survey of the lot done to make sure we had room, but it wasn't for
They never
lots.
finished it. Yeah, okay.
well, we need the
There's actually
room.
grants for that. I realize you don't have people to apply for those grants for you, but there are grants for that.
And the last thing that I just want to suggest, and I'm not a huge favor of it, but if we are looking to save money for the town in the long run, and we are roughly gonna have $750,000 in savings overall for the town. Kind of goes back to Laura's point. If we paid off the highway roof in general, over the next 5 years, we're gonna save the town $30,000 in money if we just paid off the roof. Plus, that's getting rid of a $40,000 payment every year. Yes, it takes down our fund balance, but in the long run, it's saving the town $30,000. I think it's possibly a good idea. I'm gonna reflect back to Nicole in favor and say it's up to their thoughts. But to me, saving $30,000 when we have that money is a smart financial decision. And if it was my business, and I always looked at the town budget to be run as a business, that would be a business decision I would make because it's gonna help my bottom line over the next 5 years.
The only thing, and I do not disagree with you, the only thing is I will need to check and see if that's what they call a callable loan.
Meaning that we can pay it off early.
Correct.
Okay, but if we can, I would think that that would be a smart decision for the town, but that's everybody else's decision as well. And that's the changes that I thought.
Thank you. Jump in, anybody?
I was wondering about the justice, the 2,100. I looked at the trends and it looks like we're spending anywhere between 173 and 1399 over the past like 4 years. So I don't know why. I mean, and how much have we spent this year on that one? I looked at 2023. I don't know if we could go down on that. $218. I don't know why we need $2,100 in that line item.
It's basically, if they need to go to do any sort of training, that would come out of there.
The year before, when Mike actually went to training, we ended up having to pay for a hotel room and training and everything for.
I know I just had to get him a new chair because his broke. That will come out of here.
Get it oversized.
Okay.
I did.
You're gonna take that $52,100 in on page 3.
Yes, I'll
That's
adjust
gonna
that.
get adjusted.
Yes.
Thank you. And then on page 4, nope, Darren, you said that, or somebody said that the BTI should have the asterisks, right?
Yep.
That one is
Yep, she said that was just an overlook, but it is taken care of.
thank you. I agree with the sidewalks.
I did have one other thing just before that. Sorry, Laura.
Yeah, go ahead.
Street lighting. What have we spent year to date? Because when we switched all of these LEDs, we were supposed to be saving all types of money,
Mm-hmm.
and this never really went down.
We were supposed to save all sorts of money and then the rates went up.
So they basically,
We're not
we
saving
saved
much.
it, but we didn't save hardly any. Gotcha.
They shafted us.
Yep.
They lied.
Because I remember saying, oh, we're going to go from 21,000 at the time down to 12.
Yeah, well,
I know we get into a conversation about this, but we did amend the budget for the publicity fund to 17.5.
Nobody knows where you are.
Yeah,
On
she's on
page
page,
6.
she is on page 6.
We made a resolution to make that.
Right, but we should have put that money back, didn't we, just the other day? Didn't you say that we didn't spend that money? So
We haven't spent it, but so, it's just sitting there in unappropriated fund balance. Well, it's appropriated, but it's fund balance.
I would have to look into that. I wasn't aware of that one.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we did do that.
Should we just put it back in the general fund?
But Laura, the
It
thing
will
is,
be.
I know
Nicole-
it wasn't spent.
no. Nicole was actually right because 14,000 was what was budgeted last year. We did a budget amendment mid-year, which wouldn't show up as last year's budget.
But it says 2024 budget as amended.
But we did a mid-year amendment.
Okay, so that's not what, so this isn't the final tally.
This is
for
the
any
final
purposes.
budget of last year,
Okay,
passed
yeah.
in like November.
Okay, thank you. The other towns will have, I know the only person we touched on was John with the longevity bonus. Other towns will have it as a separate line item. I did want to just throw that out there. And then,
What other towns, so I can look at them?
Jay.
And to touch on that too, right now longevity is built into the highway superintendent position, which I think is not right because they're an elected official. So I don't feel that they should be getting longevity because that's a salaried position, not an hourly position. So I don't feel that they should be getting a longevity pay as a elected official because it's for full-time hourly employees, not elected officials. And Nicole said it didn't really specify in our resolution last year. It was basically follow the county, and in the county it says for full-time regular employees. It doesn't say anything about elected officials. So I wouldn't think that an elected official would receive longevity pay. That would be like, why wouldn't Don get longevity pay if Louis is getting John? No, I'm just saying it doesn't make sense to me that an elected official gets longevity pay.
You're right.
Would you,
Yeah.
who else? Are there any other elected officials that are hourly?
No,
Just
they're all
Dawn.
salaried.
Just Dawn?
No, they're all salary.
Your salary.
That's salary.
So he's salary as well.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, I agree.
I've been wondering, how does our highway superintendent salary compare to other towns, other nearby towns?
He's lower
Lower than some.
than some, but he's, I think Darren put it earlier,
Middle of the road.
we're mid.
65 something.
Oh, standby.
You look into that, David?
If he's making 65,000, he's gonna be making exactly what my superintendent is making this year with his 3% raise.
Thank you.
I still think we should remove the joint youth commission personally, but that's just mine.
I think we all
I do
agree
too.
with that.
I'm good with
I agree
that.
with that.
Okay.
And so the check,
Okay, so that's a definite.
That's definite.
in Chesterfield, I think this deputy highway is getting $68,000. That's assuming you take a look at your house.
What?
How does Chesterfield relate to us in size? Aren't they smaller?
They're bigger.
It's
Oh,
Keithville.
bigger?
That's mostly Keysville.
Oh, okay.
So the water department and Mariah gets 53,000. How come he didn't give me his highway supervisor?
Could I request that on page 9, the beautification be coming out of the community enhancement funds? It may come out of that. It doesn't have any asterisks by it, but I think that that's a chargeable expense.
Oh, you mean the flowers and the,
So the only thing that we all have to agree on is to spend more than 65,000. So if we're gonna do that, we're gonna spend 63,500 out of it.
Yeah.
We just all have to agree on that.
oh, we had the 4,000 left over.
But we also have 160 some odd thousand regardless, right?
So we could
make
cut this out and
120.
just say the
We
4,000 is
carved
gonna
out
cover that.
60.
Correct?
If that's what you would like.
I'm fine with the 4,000 covering that.
Okay, you all agree then? Okay, so we're going to change. Where are we? Okay, so on page 6, instead of 4,000 here, you're gonna make it 500.
Correct.
And then for beautification, you're going to have asterisks here,
Correct.
okay?
Since we're on that page,
Yep.
I think we all agreed that a $5,000 increase in cemeteries is more affordable this year than a
Yeah, that's fine.
$11,000 increase.
Okay, hold on, so you're doing what?
So we're gonna increase it to
Cemeteries.
6,500.
Okay,
It's still a step in the right direction.
That's the way we gotta look at it.
What page are we on?
9.
9 at the bottom, cemetery.
Lori, you agree?
Yep, definitely.
You said 5,000 or 6,500?
He wants to make it
Yeah.
6,500.
Gonna be my total.
Did we use
Got
all
it.
the money from the cemeteries this year? If not, we should use it so it just doesn't.
Mhm.
Or set up something so that it rolls over.
We'll set up a reserve.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I think we did this year though, because the highway used some and John used some for trees and stuff like that.
I think they put some stone down
Mm.
on the road. Yep.
Plus there was the tree that was threatening.
So, so what does everybody want to do with raises so we can get some of it ironed out? What's everybody's thoughts so we can,
I would like to keep pace with inflation, but I haven't done the calculations to know what that is. So,
I think social security says it's 2%, but.
well, inflation
We
is,
know it's more
but
than
we've been, but no, inflation is around 2%, but what I mean is, since the pandemic, inflation has been there have been years where it's been at 8%, and those years we were definitely not keeping pace with inflation. So I would like it if, since the start of the pandemic, I know we won't keep pace with inflation, but at least coming close, and I haven't sat down and done the math to know where, between 3 and 5%, what that would do, how far away we would be with a 3%. Obviously, my knee-jerk reaction is 3% is fine if inflation's at 2%, but the previous several years, we have not been keeping pace with inflation. So we're still about, in real terms, they're still making less than they were making in 2019.
Didn't the insurance change it? Make that better? Because you gotta figure in the insurance when you're talking about wages.
I don't
They're not
disagree.
paying as much now, right?
I don't disagree, but if we say that they're gonna get a 5% raise, I mean, we're setting, I don't even know what you guys have given as raises, percentage wise. I understand there was a dollar amount. I don't know what the percentages were before, like, but if I'm gonna get a 5% raise this year and then we can't keep pace with that, it's just,
No, it would just be a 5% to try and get somewhere close to, in real terms, what they were making in 2019. It wouldn't be planning on 5% year after year after year.
I know, but I think she's just saying it's gonna basically set precedent and they're gonna
in
want
their
5%
brains,
every year.
I mean, well,
I agree. I'm in
Working
favor of, and I'll go a step further and I'll say, let's do a little bit better than the towns around and we'll go 3.5% and.
Yeah, so I did ask around today at the county among those guys about, well, last year, the reason why we did the $2, well, one of the reasons why we did the $2 per hour raise was the way the county basically, they did a $2 per hour raise for those guys and they sort of backed the towns into doing something similar, towns who have been sort of sitting on their hands with their raises. They didn't want to lose, all the county jobs are open and they're getting a $2 per hour raise. So they start, we start speeding off of each other for the small pool of employees we have. So this year, for example, so Chesterfield's right now doing, so they got the guys working at the highway are getting $25K plus Chesterfield pays 100% of the benefits and they're going to give $1 an hour raise this year, which is greater than 5%, I think.
No,
No, it's
It's
fine.
about what?
4. According to your paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so they're gonna get a 4% raise.
When we said Jay's getting 3, Keen's getting 3.
Yeah, and Mariah's doing 3.5%. Now, I've talked to others and they tried to do it in a sort of 3-3-3-5, 3-3-3, something like that. They try to develop a pattern where they'll play catch up one year. So the question is, how much are we actually catching up this year? Or did we do enough last year to help me catch up? And it sounds to me that, let's see, Mariah's highway guys with the CDLs are getting $25.81 per hour and $23.81 for the permitted. And they're all getting a 3.5% increase based on that.
And we're about 25.81, aren't we?
So, it's again, we're within the range of people, you're saying we're Midland. We're not, but they're paying their,
We're gonna do 3 this year and 5 next.
yeah, see, no, you follow a certain pattern, so you don't, but we don't have a pattern, so.
We did 3 last, we're doing 3, 3, 5. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We did.
Since we don't have a pattern, we probably should follow one. So, anyways, that's my.
I appreciate it.
That's my 2 cents on that. And I think that, looking at, you think about it in terms of labor negotiation, and you're throwing out the 5%. It's throwing out the 5%, right? So then, is it an invitation to negotiation, or are they really telling us something important?
They, going back, 2-3 years, they sent like a pretty formal, pretty serious letter saying that they wanted more money due to inflation. And you can look at how that was responded to however you want, but we subsequently lost like 3 senior highway department employees. Like,
That's not
I
the
don't
only
think,
reason.
I know that, I know that.
So we can't say it's just from wages.
But that's happening everywhere. That's happening everywhere.
Which is why we should try to somewhat keep pace with inflation.
I think we should just somewhat try to keep pace or better than the towns around us. And it doesn't sound like if we did a 3 to 4% increase that we're falling behind any town around us.
That's right. So I'm heading closer towards the 4.
You gave 5%.
Right.
No, if you gave 5%, you would bring your CDL license driver up to 26.34. My CDL drivers right now are making 28.76, and then they're giving 3% on top of that.
But you guys are almost the highest.
But I'm just saying,
That's right.
so
Okay.
I'm doing 3%. That's if you gave 5%.
You guys
So
get
you
the
guys aren't
mints
even
for
gonna be
Christmas.
close to that anyway, so just to hit off what he's saying, so, I think with what you're giving to longevity
Just a
pay,
minute.
what you just gave in longevity pay last year, what we're giving now, and then switching over to the insurance, the benefits they're getting now, I think they've got a pretty good package right now with what they have.
So 3%. Is that what
We're
you're
I'll
at?
go
3.5 on the table, and I agree with Darren, I'll go 3.5.
And 3.5, I heard 4. Do I hear 4 or 4.5?
I think 3.5.
Oh, there you go. That's 3.
I was gonna say 3, but I mean,
3.75 doesn't mean.
you said 3.5 for Keene?
We're doing
Only
3,
three.
Keene.
Oh, 3.
Yeah, we're doing 3.
But they're
Great.
already way ahead.
I don't know.
Pays the guys a lot more.
What's Jay doing? Who's been looking at Jay?
I don't know.
All right.
I know, it's 3%.
Yes, I
Is it 3? Right.
I was gonna say, I thought
I think
somebody already
most
said
of them
that.
are
can look at that when I get home, but.
I think most
I
of them
asked
are
today.
3.
Yeah. You asked at the office?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
So did we make a decision?
Well,
I don't know, I guess do we have to do a resolution on that, or can we just do it?
You're in
Formal
the tentative
agreement at this
stage,
point.
exactly.
So I proposed 3.5, Tina said 3.5.
There's 3 at 3.5.
We don't do resolutions on those.
No,
No, we're just gonna get a
We're
consensus.
still
You're
in
just doing
discussion.
because basically in the end, we're gonna have to agree to it,
Yeah.
so whatever we agree to.
Yeah, so you're throwing in 3.5. And we'll see how everyone reacts.
That's what, 12,000 off of that?
Probably roughly that, yeah.
So we'll see how they
What
react.
else was there?
Plus, we haven't had the public yet.
What were you gonna say?
Speaking of the public,
Sorry.
I think 5% raise for them would be ridiculous. My reasoning, I've been in the workforce for a lot of years, negotiated with a lot, my own team was 15 employees. And we didn't do this yearly thing on raises.
No.
We had a union had contract.
Yeah.
And you'll never keep up with inflation.
No way.
You can't.
No.
So don't even try to do that.
Oh, we
It'll
went
never work.
years without raises
I
on
mean,
yours with the state.
Raises, hypothetically, you guys could go say, okay, well, we're gonna give you a 2.5% raise, or we're gonna give you a 5% raise, but it's gonna take 2 years to get it. I mean, with all the money that has been given out to all these towns over the past couple of years for salaries, I think, anything over 3 would be too much of a high precedent to set, because now they asked for 5, you gave them 3, they're gonna ask for 5 again next year. And it's just an asking thing. Everybody always asks for more than what they.
It's a negotiation.
Exactly.
I tried for.
Happens every year.
It does.
Yeah.
And to be real, in reality, I went many years with no raise.
It was zero inflation for many, 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 many years.
Yeah, right. But you can't worry about what the inflation is when it comes to raises.
Well, you have to if you don't want to start losing your employees to other places.
You won't do that. I think you're right at the point right now where everybody is about, so if nobody,
I think so. Put it up.
if the person's gonna leave, it's not gonna be because of salary at this point.
That was what I was gonna bring.
Because if he leaves, now he's got travel expense. Everybody here is here.
Plus we've added the longevity pay.
And now that you brought that up,
I have,
longevity isn't necessarily meant to be a yearly thing. Longevity is for like, you start at, after like 5 years, you get a certain amount. And then after 10 years, you get a certain amount. You shouldn't be given a longevity for every single year. That, because now let's say as soon as I start getting it, I'm gonna receive that money yearly forever.
Mhm.
I never heard of that.
That's how that they did the resolution.
I know that.
Yeah.
But I should have spoke up then, because the fact that like, you should get longevity that like, 5 years, 10 years, 15, and you could actually do a decent amount of money, one chunk. So you can budget all the way up to that point. Realize this has nothing to do with, it's not, the longevity is already in the past, so that's over with. But
I agree.
I just wanted to bring that up because that's what bothered me.
That's right. You're satisfied our public comment requirement. The fact that this is a public hearing. Thank you.
And then, we are all in agreement that elected officials shouldn't get the longevity since we're on that now.
Yeah, hell,
I think that should be cut out of there.
I do, I agree.
I'm with you.
yes,
Yeah.
agree.
If that's how that the county does it and we were following suit, I think that that's appropriate.
And if we have to make a resolution on it, then
Yeah. At the county, it's,
amend it.
at the county, there's a hell of a lot of actual administration employee people, and they're not elected. There's supervisors are elected, the clerk's probably elected, and then a judge or two, and a DA. So the rest of them are all salaried or hourly, in their contract, so they become employees to that extent, that it's been thought about. I certainly would like to take the chance to look for a counter to see if there's anybody out there who does something different from that sort of notion that it's a benefit for employees to reward employees, not for people who get the benefit of running for election.
Okay.
But that's my comment.
I think we should cut that, whatever that is built in there out.
Okay, I did make a note of that. I just wanted to back up. So did you guys decide on town clerk contractual expense? So at one point you said back to 35, then it was 4. I don't know.
No, that was, I think Darren talked about that with.
I think just everybody had to agree if
Or-
do a small increase. And
4, okay.
Yep.
And then definitely cutting the sidewalks.
Yes.
I'm good with that. The other, we cut joint.
We cut the senior bus driver, that's for sure. That's out of
The
the.
nice stuff buses for sale.
I saw that.
I don't know how much.
We'll have to send somebody down there and actually inspect it.
Rotted out.
I know. It's scary.
I think
I heard a
that's
lot of
what we
stories
decided on that.
It's a senior bus.
Well, that's one fun.
Oh, we have to do highway and, dang,
Yeah.
shoot. All right, let's rock it through these, guys.
Are we don't go over the revenue?
Well, we just sort of did in a way. Basically, we'll have to decide what to do with the, how much of the unappropriated fund balance we'll convert to reduce the levy. Um,
Like I said, if I did anything, in my opinion, I think we should use it to pay off the highway and do away with that and save $30,000 worth of interest,
Yeah.
I'll
see,
check
this is-
into that and see if it's.
if it's possible.
But to me, I would, before we get too detailed about that, I certainly would like to see the newer numbers and reduced appropriation stuff. You say, okay, this is what we're looking at now.
I did have a question on number 12, page 12, the planning board fee. It's really low, and it looks
Yep.
like we take in over $1,000 every year.
Yep.
I think that could be an offset.
That's fair. So what is it that he gets?
Between 10, according to open, whatever, between $1,044 and $1,545.
So if we put in a tentative, like $1,000?
That would help.
Page 12, planning board fees.
Yeah, I mean, that's conservative compared to what you saw.
Do you have more?
Nope, not on that page.
You can go ahead.
No.
Okay. The non-property tax distribution by county, that's sales tax.
Mhm.
And that was 86,000 last year. Can we put that at 80,000 rather than 70
It depends.
or 75? I mean, if it's 86 last year, I think 75 is pretty realistic.
What we brought in, what the number was from, that we received
The actual
from
number.
Okay.
Nicole's numbers.
Okay.
I will look at the sales tax has not been trending upwards this year, according to the treasurer's reports that I get once a month. I'll look at that and see if we can bump that up slightly to something that may be realistic or not based on what it's looking for this year. But again, it's one of those things where if we put in a conservative number,
Mhm.
and the bottom falls out, and we won't be sitting there looking for revenue. We'll have to take fund balance then, because we don't have the revenues from the taxes anymore to help pay for those things.
Can I-
Typically, don't you always try to be very conservative on revenues because they vary year to year, and it's better to err on the side of caution than it is to over expect and then not receive?
Well,
That's
Yes.
how I've done it, but.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm saying 75 or 80, not 90 or 95 or 86, 75 is still 11,000 less than it was last year. The sales tax money, sales tax is received by the merchant, sent to whomever, split between the county and the state 50/50, and then doled out by the county to the towns based on population. Is that correct?
not quite. They do something the same way what they do with the STR tax, which is they pay everyone a flat amount, so all 19 towns get X, then they get paid pro rata based on per capita.
Based on population.
Yep.
So it's slightly more bureaucratic and complex, but,
So it's not all going to North Elba,
I'm
basically.
right. Well, anti-conduit and Mariah.
Well, yeah, North Elba is still 8,000 people. There's a gorilla.
The park and recreation charges,
That's boat rentals.
got it?
Yeah, well, look at those guys going to town.
Nicole, this River Field property, we don't have them anymore.
No, but the board put that into place so that if people wanted to, like we were doing the yoga for a
Oh,
while.
okay, okay.
then, yeah,
Do we think that we will be charging for rental of the town parks as part of our facilities use agreement next year?
Yes, but we have no way of judging that as a revenue now. So we'll have to we'll have to come up with the policy, set the amounts, and then we can look at how things are going. But right now, it's just big. Don't have a clue.
So we agreed to increase the bed tax money from 60,000 to 64. Does
No.
anyone else?
We didn't do that.
No,
We took the
we
fourth.
took it out of the.
Got it. So I'd like to see that go up to from 60 to 65 or 70.
But we don't even have any other place in the budget where we could use it at this point.
Street lights,
Oh my gosh, how on earth is that
I don't-
community
I
enhancement?
don't think
no,
I think it's like the things that, John orders, like the decorative things.
mhm,
I don't know if it's, I guess you can do lighting on a main street,
mhm.
but I don't know how that they would.
It's not
break that
safety
out.
lights that, NICEAG charges us
Right.
$1,500 a day for. What hell page are we on?
12.
Okay, I'm on 14.
We might
I was on
we might be further than that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I guess
Oh,
the other thing,
So was I.
What are you on?
We were on 13.
I'm sorry. I was looking for another paper.
Well, he had us on route to 60,000.
the other thing is, the obvious thing is Parks Department wages for events and mileage and garbage for events. So that's easily 5,000 a year.
There was a resolution that was passed last year at the end of the year that we agreed to strictly overtime on those things.
Yeah.
It wasn't for regular salaries or daytime, and there's no way that we had, the figures that you gave last meeting, that's why I kind of barked back at you. There was no way there was $2,600 in overtime like on the Music Fest. There
No,
was no,
that was just the
that was
wages.
total.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So we already made the resolution last year that overtime would be paid from those funds, but we said regular wages we didn't think was, because they have to do their regular job anyway.
That's true, except it was actually at 2022, I'm almost positive that we made that resolution. And there
Nicole
was
had that
no,
looked up. Do you saw that resolution with you?
Yes, I do.
I gave it to
I know you did, but I recopied.
you. It was 2022, right? Or was it 2023?
22.
Politician?
Anyway, but there was no follow through. We made the resolution, but then it was never actually done.
What do you mean it wasn't done?
Those wages for overtime were not actually
Calculated.
taken out of bed tax money.
I'm not sure. I can't answer that.
I can tell you I did not do it because I was not aware of it until it was brought to my attention.
And then I guess going forward, it have to be done.
All right,
Okay,
page number what? Let's go.
13. STR fees, rather than 40,000, it'll be, and this is a conservative estimate, this is, it'll be around 131 permits. That's based on what we had at the end of last year. So these would be the number of permits that need to be renewed next year. At the end of 2020, at the end of 2023, there were 131 permits issued. Therefore, by the end of 2025, 131 will need to renew their permits because that'll be 2 years. Doing that math at a 2-bedroom estimate, it comes out to 52,400. I think a 2-bedroom estimate is conservative.
So you're saying that in the first year after we implemented the program, we did 131 permits and there was only 19 issued in the second year?
They started being issued in December of 2022.
Basically, let's just say January, for all practical purposes. So you're saying 131 of them were issued the first year?
I did bring it with me. Yes. Yep.
And so we've only had 19 new permits issued over the next year and a half? That doesn't seem accurate. When we
Well,
started talking about it last year, there was 131, and then we filled up the 19 once we started talking about putting a cap on it. We did about,
Sometimes-
if I remember right, we did about half one year and half the next year.
And this giant piece pile of papers. I have the actual thing from Doug. And
I've lost.
here it is.
You're talking about this.
I can go on my computer and get it too.
Yeah.
If we're gonna use that one.
No, we're still gonna have to discount it.
I don't see how, where it says that, Tim. Maybe I just don't understand your writing. It says 131, 39.3.
Well, I'm just looking at the thing from December of 2023. The number of permits.
That was the
issued.
total one of permits.
Issued from the beginning, I think.
That's right.
And you're saying that started in December of 2022?
Yes.
I don't know.
But if we don't, I mean.
Yeah. Well, that's right.
So I guess I'm shocked by that number, that we only added 19 permits, and it was made such a big deal of that we added hundreds of permits and we only added 19 after the permitting process started. Because we already had 131 when we started it, and then we only added 19. I'm shocked by that.
No, we did.
Oh,
We
we
issued
started
131 in the first year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So we didn't really add that many after that.
Right. He said, then we started and then we did the whole discussion of the permitting process when we put the cap in and all that. So we only added 19 after we had decided what the number was going to be.
Well, when the committee, this is also off track, but when the committee presented their recommendation, it was 125 because there were 120 in operation at that time.
Well, that's great. But,
Right.
Nevertheless, let's get back to the.
Right.
How much,
So anyway.
how much revenue do you want to put?
I think, of course, it's now on a different piece of paper that I've lost, but I think it was 52,400. If we estimate that the average one has 2 bedrooms, which I think the average one is more than 2 bedrooms. I think it was 2.7 last time I looked. So you could do 5,000 if you want to be conservative about it. 50,000, that's right. Thank you.
So are we changing that?
I have no idea. I mean, if that's what Doug said, and
No.
he thinks he's going to get that much, that's up to Favor and Nicole.
Yeah, no,
I'm going to base it off from whatever Doug said.
you know, Doug's number was higher, and we went with a conservative amount, because again, you're looking at revenue, based on a number of fees that people who may want to renew or may not want to renew, going forward. You know, I don't care. I'll put it at 50. To me, you know, it would just come out of the fund balance for us if we don't raise that much.
So it's just work with me here.
Mhm.
The 130 some odd people
Mhm.
that renew yearly.
They got, the 131 people got permits in the first year.
Okay, so
So-
their renewal is going to be annually.
So if in December of 2023, there were this number of permits issued and they're 2-year permits, by December 2025, all of these permits will have
Be annual.
expired. And that's
But
right.
not all of them are guaranteed to renew.
That's right. But there are 2 on the wait list, but I mean, that is true.
That's all. So, you know, that's why we discount these things.
Okay, so what am I doing?
50.
I'd say 45.
I put 45 down. I had 45 written down.
What are we doing? 45, 50? Tina, 45 or 50?
She said 45.
I say 45.
45.
That's fine.
Laura?
45, Tim says, it's okay.
I don't know enough on it. I can't, I honestly.
Right, it
I-
takes a second to think it.
I'm
think it
sorry.
through,
I
and the
yeah,
math
I don't
is
want to,
tricky.
I don't want
It's
to
a 2-year
jack
cycle.
it and then,
Yep.
yeah, so I
Those numbers are on my report that I give you.
I know, I just don't have it. I'm fumbling through my stacks right now, just trying to find something I don't have, so.
It's
I'm gonna go back up to licenses and permits, under licenses and permits,
Page.
page 13,
13.
2 lines up
13.
from where we were.
I was on for-
Why did we go from 9 to 5 when we're it looks like we're bringing in quite a bit of money from that.
Well, we did this year because you had a lot of permits going on for KOA, which made it a stellar year, but it's not guaranteed next year.
No, because they're not gonna be doing all the demolition.
No, I know,
They
but on the, we were like between 18 and 26,000 on line. I could be wrong, but that's, and I know those numbers aren't always right, but that's what the trend looks like.
There's no way we did $26,000 in building permits a year.
No.
Last year.
Last year we did an awful lot. That was because of KOA.
Right.
Well, it's 18, I said between 18 and, for a 4-year spread, 18,000 and 26,000.
So we just bring it back to 9 and call it a day.
Whatever. Is that unanimous?
I'm a brand new person here. I'm just, I'm,
I've got it.
I'm good with it.
I've got it.
I need some other input.
I say
on those
9,
numbers.
Tina says 9, you okay with 9?
I'm fine with 9, but I mean, then I look like I'm just making shit up.
I don't think anyone.
I don't think we said that at all, I
Okay,
didn't think we did
well,
26.
I just don't want to be the lone
No
believe you.
star,
no
lone
one
person
thinks they're
here.
making anything up. The thing
Totally
is
believe you.
whether those figures are right. They're both looking at it. I believe
Exactly.
that you read
Let me
those
double
figures.
check,
Right.
Jesus.
Absolutely.
Pray for me. Yeah.
The only person is,
We raised building fees this year, I think we're safe with 9. That's why I'm saying that.
It's slowing down.
I would rather be a little higher than 5.
I think everyone is cool with that.
Okay, great.
That's it, 9.
Gotcha. All right. Page 14, insurance recoveries. You've got 20,000. Understand that? What are we gonna get? Is that from?
That is the employee portions of health insurance.
Okay. We talked about the refunds of prior expenditures.
That is the half of the parks or whatever EMT person's salary that we expect to get back.
From the district.
Correct.
Why don't we just let the fire department hire a part-time person and save all that money in our budget, and then we could have a balanced budget.
Because if the fire department hires an EMT, they have to hire a full-time EMT. And when they hire the full-time
What do you
person,
mean they have to hire?
they need somebody during the day. So they would have to hire somebody for that full shift. Where right now it's between the town and the district that are sharing that expense. So
They're
fire
legally
department-
required to have someone available all day,
Well,
and
if you want somebody in town to cover the calls. So if we want to get an ambulance out, because there's no volunteers in town. So,
during the daytime.
so that, in order to do that, if we bring it back onto the commissioners, then your taxes are gonna go up. And they're gonna go up big time.
Got it.
So the easier solution is to share it between the two, and do it that way,
And while we can, we should.
while we can.
Don't
Yeah.
be telling everybody they
Because
can't do
it's
it.
soon enough, it will come down to it that we won't be able to do it, and then the taxes are gonna go up. And yeah, it's gonna be
No, I didn't understand, so thanks for the
Yeah.
explanation.
yeah, because we don't have enough people in town to cover.
Okay, let's see if we can get through 15 to 23.
And last year alone, not counting white base, we had over 300 calls.
Yes, you are busy as well. I get that report too. That was in today's meeting. Okay, would you mind just dipping through the appropriations? What is it that he's looking at for? I assume Louis helped you with this.
No,
No?
not.
Okay, never mind. Okay, so what,
This
personal
is what he
service?
asked for on the paper that he had, and he explained it that day.
Yes,
Okay,
It
so,
went up on 3 items, $5,000.
just the contractual expenses.
okay, but this is still the 5% for the personal services plus some longevity pay because we have the Hoov.
Yes.
Someone told me you were funny, and they were right.
Yeah, thank you. That's right.
Can I ask why the chips went up?
So in the past, again, when I took this over from Shirley, this is the way she always did it. She put it in for 20,000 because you never knew whether you were going to get from year to year. Well, they've been pretty good about continuing the program. So anyway, on the advice of Kathy, she said we really should be budgeting what we're expecting.
Okay.
So we're changing that up this year.
What's
So
15? Great.
yeah, so on that same note though,
I know it's an expense.
yep, it's gonna be offset on the, yep.
Machinery personal services, we decided to put those guys somewhere else.
Again, on the advice of Kathy, we're not going to charge any personal services there because it's the state, you're supposed to do it, there's some percentage. You figure out by your lane miles and it has to do with your lane miles and your snow and ice contracts. And then it's supposed to be split by certain percentages. So we don't have a designated mechanic, so we're not gonna charge any personal services to there anymore. It's just gonna be between general roads, town snow, state snow.
Okay.
So that 76,350 is just went elsewhere.
Correct.
Wow, okay, so down there towards the bottom, like we last year budgeted snow removal contracts 120,000.
Yep.
This year we've got 41,250.
Yep, if you turn the page, you're gonna see where it moved down to contractual expense for
Yep.
services other governments.
Okay.
And again, it's just getting things reallocated the
Yep.
right way.
Thank you. Oh, look, bonds.
Yay.
Why are we not putting in equipment requests through the state for them to pay for equipment?
For the most part, because there's so many roads in the town that need to be paved or repaired.
But we're paying huge amounts of interest on these.
I understand, but how do you fix roads?
I mean, we still have quite a bit of balance on those, in those accounts that I saw from the state. And we don't use all of that money that we are allowed. And there is items that we are paying interest on that we could be utilizing that fund, those funds for. I think it would be something we could look into.
And you can submit to CHIPS for pieces of equipment. There are certain ones that you can do that for, but again, we can't pave a mile of road for under 100,000. It's, I don't know.
So to go back to the CHIPS, so we've increased that in our budget 40,000 because it's appropriation, so that's an expense.
Correct.
So we've spent 40,000 other years. This year we're saying we're going to spend 80,000.
No, what we're saying is we're actually looking at what's expected. Like you get the notice every year from CHIPS saying,
This is what you're allotted.
right.
Gotcha.
So we're doing it properly.
So because it's in appropriations, we turned around and added it back to, or it's in revenues, so we added it to appropriations.
Yes.
Got it.
They just even out.
So even though it looks like there's a huge increase, our revenues also increased that much.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay, Julia.
16.
And billing shift isn't quite as easy as it sounds.
Mm.
No, they're
To get
lots
the,
of times.
to get the equipment, to get the materials, and get it filled in the required amount of time as to what the state gives you isn't quite as easy as it sounds. When you say to fix the roads and get what you need, a lot of times you can't get the equipment, your guys, and the material all lined up to be able to bill it in the time period of when that money is allotted for you to have it available.
I'm talking about purchasing a truck, purchasing a
Purchasing.
plow,
Okay.
purchasing things that we have taken bonds out for, which
Okay.
we're paying interest on. When they say that you have to own it for a 10-year lifespan in order for them to pay for it, and you have to own that, but they'll pay you for that item. That's what I have looked into, whether or not that, everything is good on paper. I understand that there's a lot of moving parts, but I'm saying it would be beneficial possibly for us to look at them asking if it would be an item that they would reimburse us for rather than it coming out of the taxpayers. Is all I'm saying.
Out of the local taxpayers, because we're all paying the state's.
Obviously.
That's something we could look into, but I don't think we can change it for this year's budget because we're not gonna have that answer.
Let's look into that one too. 'Cause I've never.
Let's hire the new, let's get the new person. on
Well,
board.
it's kind of too late this year because he just paved, so.
Okay. Note.
So we're on 18 now?
No, I want to call attention, going over this, I discovered a mistake that I made on page 17. There's 2 line items for insurance recoveries. The 5,700, I don't know how it got in there. It needs to be removed.
Strike it.
And so by doing that, if you back up on page 16, we're going to decrease the medical insurance to 58,800 to offset that 5,700.
What's the removal? Remove the 5,700 and then which other page?
On page 16, the hospital medical insurance, we're just reducing it.
Thank you.
The 58,800.
Yes.
Say it costs $100,000 to pave a mile of road.
Roughly.
All this is shocking. I think there's an extra zero to add to everything.
But the roads that are state and county, like we pay for town roads, they reimburse us for highway and county, correct?
I guess a certain amount the whole year, highway and county.
Right, but we have to utilize those funds, but that would come out of their budget, reimbursing the town, right?
Well, we don't pave state and county roads.
Right, but Louis did say that he does work for them.
We can, yes.
He
And
said
then
he gets a lot of money back from them for the work that he does on
yes,
those.
we get reimbursed for his equipment and
Yeah.
labor.
Page 17, anything else? Page 18.
Waters is so clean. Honestly. I didn't have any edits on those.
The only edit I would like to see is if you'd all talked about it and, it's one way to make it not look as bad in taxes is raising the water rents.
Oh.
And we had all talked about raising the water rents to help decrease the tax levy. And I think it's a smart thing and it would help Eddie's bottom line, because right now nothing else is going up. And as Nicole said, we expect this year not to have any fund balance after expenses. So I think it only makes sense to raise the revenues up to maybe 150 and do like a 10% raise in water rates.
The annual water in Mariah is 450. And in Chesterfield, it's 640.
Over 200.
That's okay. I think there's some room there.
I do too.
What page are we on?
20.
Yeah, that's not even before they get to the usage. That's the.
But that's only on the people that utilize
No, those
the
are
water.
it's
Yes.
hookups.
Right.
It's the accounts. I said, how much you guys spend? They'll tell. I said, well, there's some
We're
room.
one of the cheapest towns around, especially with a filtration plant.
Yeah.
Like probably the cheapest town around.
Yeah, I think it would.
I'm not gonna talk about you. You're always cheaper.
We don't know, we don't have meters. They
Yeah,
gave
you
it to
freaking, I'm
them,
telling you, you guys give out mints at
But I
Christmas time
charge
and all
you
your happy
$946.
people who live in remote.
All right, well, everybody gets charged 946
I
bucks.
charge
then.
$946 to have water.
Down there, so
And, I charge you $65 to
I
turn
just
me on
don't-
and turn me off.
I think they'd have their pitchforks
125.
out if we did that. I think it also, again, I went to a couple of these meetings with Ed and those consultant types. It certainly is a chance for us to help create some extra funds so we can put stuff away from reserves, because that's gonna be very expensive repairs. And also, I think, I'd like to say us start thinking about a succession plan for Ed. And see if there's, I mean, I don't know, I asked him how much longer he plans on doing it, but right now he is the key person in the town. And in that perspective, we have some backup, but it's still something I certainly would like to, hopefully we could start putting away a little extra money in the budget so that we could provide for a backup contingency in the case that Ed is unable to fulfill the job for some reason.
If something happens to Ed, John is the next man up. Is that
He's
correct?
certified, but he's been licensed, he takes the classes, and he gets along well with Ed. But it's not as if, I think that if, let's say, Ed were removed quickly and out of the way, and all the red lights turn on at the water station, I'm not sure John would be all that excited.
Right. No.
Yeah.
So
So-
should we get John more training or?
If he wants, to
John
me,
doesn't need more training. John needs OJT.
yeah, and we could go in that direction, and we could help it with extra funds and the water district funds. Because to me, I'd like, we have to, he does a very good job at sweeping money into these little accounts and reserves and things. And he does a very good job maintaining our water system and all that stuff. But we certainly could help him out in the town. And I think that the rates are probably the way to go about starting that, get that one. Because you said at the end of the year, what the fund balance for the water department was gonna be zero.
I'm thinking we're gonna break even.
So that's something we should consider doing.
So what do you think about maybe 155?
What's 900 is king?
Well, I'm just saying 10% would be 14,000. So
Okay, that's
On the
fine.
cheap end.
Up by. Whatever the board thinks, but I just think, going in that direction is probably a good move.
I do too.
I don't have anything in favor or not.
So I'm sorry, what was the proposed?
I propose
10%.
Yeah, which is more or less 155. Do we have a second?
No, we don't make motions. I raised my hand.
Metered water sales, that's what the line item you're talking about?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I know Ed is healthy and everything, and but I agree that if something were to happen to Ed, it's scary.
Well,
Does
yeah.
John want on-the-job training?
Well, we have to talk to him.
He doesn't. Okay. That is
Not
not,
according to Ed.
that is not good.
Yeah, I have an extra water person that we have on, I pay $1,200 a month just to be on the books, just in case anything ever happens.
You keen guys are making us all, giving me a panic.
Well, it's because they rent Marcy Field for $1,000 a day.
So
In case anything ever happens.
That's what we all agree.
I can make that change, but that's,
We gotta plug that back in somewhere else. Is that what you're saying?
well, I can figure that out. That's not a problem. That's
Anyway.
provided that you guys all pass a resolution to do that. Okay.
And I think we should raise the turn on, turn off fees from 25 to 50.
Right, so that would be in service charges? Because that's like pushes, taps, things like that. Is that what that is, Nicole?
Yes.
I'm with it.
I don't, maybe 3,500?
3,500 nickel. We got two. Everybody down there okay?
Sounds good to me.
There we go.
I got a well.
Just a home big one.
He's getting, he's thinking about it.
That's wrong with your head.
Good thing they didn't pass that noise ordinance. Can't work after 7.
Yeah, can't do your well.
Kaboom.
Okay.
Let's see. Water District 2, we can't change anything.
No.
But we can we change their service charges to that? Can we charge Whiteface more too?
Well, okay, hold on, hold
No, she
on.
told me I couldn't.
There's a catch with that, I remember.
Yeah.
Well, so again, I'm being conservative because any expenses incurred in District 2 get charged back to District 2, but we don't get them till the following year. I don't know from year to year how much it's gonna cost.
I understand, but basically what I'm talking is water rents, because they pay a certain amount for what they use as well. They don't.
No.
Why not?
Good question.
Can we charge them?
Have to get out the old contract.
I'll read the contract if somebody can dig it out for me.
It would be nice if they did.
Well, you'd think they'd pay something for the water they used other than just what they, if
Uh,
they're using water, they should be like any other metered customer.
I agree. But I can't answer your question because I was way before my time.
All right, yeah.
I don't know.
And I remember the whole thing being done, and I remember there was some caveats in there, and I don't remember exactly, but I thought they were supposed to be billed for the water they use like any other metered customer.
They haven't been since I've been here.
Oh,
Can you try to find that, Don?
I don't have, unless they put it in the minutes, I don't have the contracts. Nicole would have
Okay.
well, it's in.
I'm sure
Way
Whiteface
before my
has it.
time.
that. Oh, I'm sure.
It's in-
But I'm sure they're not gonna share it with us.
Good,
I'm sure
good
they're
God.
gonna raise the.
It's gonna be lost.
Lost.
Did you bring this with you?
Well, and it very well could be.
No, I didn't.
Because the only thing I'm worried about is this one.
Well, we have one more October meeting.
Yeah.
Okay,
We do.
that's fine.
This is the, sort of the, instruction guide from the county on how to override your tax cap
If necessary.
if necessary. And so, we have to pass a local law, blah, 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 blah. So, we have to introduce a local law at some point. 'Cause it looks like it doesn't matter what we're gonna do necessarily. I don't know yet.
Why don't we just,
Carries out.
tentatively, I think this is what we did last year to err on the side of caution, schedule a public hearing for the work session, because now we have time to do it.
I'm not here.
Yeah, I know.
But if we schedule that public hearing now, we can do it at that meeting, even though we may not.
Yep.
We may or may not, but at least it's done.
Exactly. Yep, I'll do that.
So we're gonna write a thing up.
Yes, all right.
Okay. Do I need anything in the notes on that, or we just put in that we scheduled it?
No, I actually, the county was kind enough to send me templates of what the notices are and things like that.
Right. I was gonna say, I know we've got those though in the books.
That's fine. But we do have a meeting in October, so we're not.
But yeah, if we do it now, though, it's just about the
Yeah.
required time or whatever that
2
we need.
weeks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Put ours up.
Okay, so do we have a date for public hearing?
The work session, which is the 30th.
30th?
It's the 30th?
Maybe I'll switch the time. Everyone, make it in the evening, instead of 4. Okay. I'll do
So
that.
7 PM?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so are you,
So you're, the next thing is we're gonna clean this up and we'll get copies to the board. I'll write the special notice up tomorrow.
Okay.
And, when you get the new ones, we'll have another look at the second draft of the numbers. We'll know where we're staying. We'll have to have the discussion about the fund balance.
I had one last question. Where do uniforms, and I know that, is it highway, one of the departments gets uniforms. Where does that, is that contractual?
clothing allowance? Yes,
Okay,
contractual expenses.
okay.
Clothing allowance. Anything else? Sorry for yawning.
I think it goes into a weird fund,
Yours?
yeah, brushing weeds or something.
Miscellaneous expense, yeah. Yeah. Where else do you put it? I mean,
Tobacco.
Okay, are we
So-
done? Can I turn this off?
I have to say that every $100 we increase the STR fee is more than 10,000 in town revenue. So I have to say that. And they're still low for a whole home rental. So I'd like to see it go up to
Yes.
400 for a whole home rental.
Motion adjourned.
I'll make it.
Second.
Second.